the way better option. You know, I don't think I would have even have dreamt of little ducks kind of swimming past. So yeah, nice little area this is. No, it's not. It's not polluted. This is probably one of the. I don't know whether I'd like to say or not. I'd probably say it's one of the cleanest lakes around, being that I'd imagine GSK would test it on a weekly basis to make sure that their water that they're discharging is clean or uncontaminated. There's probably maybe some drains that run into the river from the road, so that could be maybe a little bit of pollution. But no, I think you wouldn't have all these animals, and there are fish in there as well. I've seen fish. So yeah, I think if you've got all these animals in, you've got to be on a safe chance that it's going to be safe. And I think all these middle islands as well are kind of like little nature reserves for the animals, or the ducks, should I say. Yeah, well, maybe we'll come here in the spring once the bike's up and running. Well, actually, the spring's not far away, is it? We'll come here on the bike, and we'll get to see, hopefully, all the little chicks, because they're really cool in the spring. They're like little followers, because the mummy and the daddy duck just jump in the water and go off, and then the little ducks, one by one, kind of stand at the edge, and it's almost like they've never done it. Perhaps they haven't done it before. They kind of just sort of stand on the edge a bit like that, and then at the last moment kind of just jump in, and wonder if they just float or whether they have to swim. Maybe it is that first jump where they kind of just jump in, and then there's that sudden realisation that, I float and everything's okay. Yeah, rational. I have been so lazy over the last 3 years. I've got 3 bikes in my shed. I've got a hybrid bike, which I've done. I don't know, do you use Strava at all? Because if you look me up on Strava, on the hybrid bike, I've done nearly 5,000 miles on that. On the Fire Mountain, which is my mountain off-road bike, I've probably done maybe close to 1,000. The Cone of Smoke, I've never actually ridden on Strava or recorded anything, because that bike is probably, oh crikey, maybe getting on for 18 years old now. And that was only ever kind of a beach cruiser bike. You know, it's got really fat tyres with... Jason, thank you for the host. Welcome to Brooklands Lake, where there used to be a train track here. Maybe it was under this path or on this path. Because I kind of remember these steps as maybe being a station to get on the train. But Jay Sloan, thank you for the host. Miriam, good afternoon. Thank you for the host. Welcome to Brooklands Lake, where we have ducks, singing ducks. And Rational with the host. Thank you very much, Dave. We're just having a bit of a get out, Miriam, this afternoon. Enjoying a bit of fresh air. Now these look like they're mischief. They're either thinking that I've got some sort of food, or we're gonna have to like run in a minute. Oh dear me. So these are the swans. Swans are, they're all owned by the Queen, I believe. So they're all protected. But they're also quite aggressive little animals. Nighty Gaming, thank you for the host, man. But I think these two here are probably maybe last year's ducklings, because they've still got a bit of their brown featherage, whereas this one here is maybe another year old, or even the parents of those two, she or he. I don't know how you tell the difference between a swan and a swanette. I don't know. They feel quite scared at the moment. Oh dearie me. It's kind of guessing how quickly the swans can jump out onto this side bit. I'm betting at the moment not very fast, but who knows, eh? See, I don't know how to tell the difference between a man swan and a lady swan, but I definitely think the ones with these brown feathers are the ugly ducklings from last year. And the ugly duckling grew and grew and grew into a beautiful, magnificent white swan. I think they are quite friendly, because that man's feeding out of his hands, so... I think I'm quite happy to leave that one to you, Rational. But yeah, no, my luck has turned with the females. I've got a whole host of birds in front of me. I've got like gully type birds, ducky type birds, and swan type birds, and a few pigeons as well. So there you go. That's what we've got today. I think you're right, Matt. The chickens we've got, you can hand feed as well. But what you've got to remember is when you put the corn in your hands, when they peck your hand, they don't kind of realise that, I suppose, your hand is there, and they kind of almost peck through your hand. Not literally. So there's quite a force there when the chickens kind of peck, and I'd imagine that it's probably similar to the swans, you know. I'd imagine their necks are quite strong, and when they're feeding, it's probably a new kind of feeling, isn't it? Yeah, no, I am getting rid of two chickens. One lays white eggs and the other one lays blue eggs. So if anyone in chat does want some chickens, I can post them. I think they will post. I'll put some food in there, and if I do it like Royal Mail for 24 hours, it should be fine. And you might even get an egg on delivery, so one chicken, one egg with every parcel. I think in the old days they may have eaten swans at sort of banquets and stuff like that. But yeah, it's amazing, isn't it, how quickly... I don't know how big a swan, an ugly duckling is. Maybe an ugly duckling